Well, off to a great start here. There we go. Whoa. All right. Woo. Well, hey guys, my name is Austin Atterbury. I'm the executive director of the Sing Me a Story Foundation. What we do is we give kids in children's hospitals and homes and hospice organizations around the world the chance to write and illustrate stories about whatever they want, and then we distribute those to songwriters who turn them into songs and send them back to the kids. So this all got started about 6 or 7 years ago. I'm a songwriter. I'm from Chicago, went to Northwestern, and moved down to Nashville, which it seems like everybody's doing these days. And a beautiful girl moved in next door to me, and she happened to work at Vanderbilt Children's Hospital as a child life specialist, and she encouraged me to volunteer there as a music volunteer. So full disclosure, to impress the cute girl that had moved in next door, I said, absolutely, I love kids. But I had to figure out something to do with the kids. So I started by just asking them to tell me a story about whatever they wanted, and we would turn that story into a song, and I would go home and record the song on my computer as an MP3 for the kids and their families. So we wanted to bring that opportunity to other songwriters and to other kids, and so we put the whole process online. And by putting the process online, we're able to reach other songwriters and other kids. So today we have about 3,000 songwriters that participate in our program. We work with about 150 organizations serving kids in need all over the world. We've been on the Today Show and People Magazine and different things like that. And the beautiful girl that moved in next door is now my wife, Sarah. And we have a little baby girl, and her name is Ellie, and she's awesome. So that's us. So why do we do what we do? At the core of Sing Me a Story, we believe that the greatest gift in the world is the gift of giving. So what we try to do is we try to give the children we work with the opportunity to give the one thing they all have, regardless of circumstance, which is their imagination, and bring those imaginations to some of the largest microphones we can find in an effort to remind us all that we have far more in common than we often attribute to ourselves. Because at Sing Me a Story, we believe that our world is a world that is destined to be united, and if we can be one small part of that, we will have done our job. So, not only is this a really fun and awesome opportunity for songwriters and for the kids we work with, but also for the organizations that we work with. So when we partner with an organization, that's how we reach children. And I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But these songs are fundraising opportunities. So when these songs go live on our website, a campaign is created, and people can donate to the song, receive the song as an MP3 with their donation receipt, and the money that gets raised gets split between the organization the child was a part of and Sing Me a Story. So those organizations then use those funds for all sorts of different types of projects. And so in many ways, what we're doing is we are taking the imaginations of the kiddos that we work with, bringing them to some of the largest microphones we can find, and in turn, it's really these kids that are building and doing all sorts of great projects for the organizations that they're a part of. So that's kind of one of our goals as well. Lately, over the past year and a half, we've started working with corporate partners, and one of those corporate partners happens to be Horizon Pharma. And so what we do in doing that is we create a playlist. And a Sing Me a Story playlist consists of 12 sponsored songs that go on our site. And so the company has basically their own page on our site where they can see and share the songs that are coming from our program that they have sponsored. So oftentimes we work with healthcare companies that might make a product or a pharmaceutical or a wheelchair or something of that nature for particular types of kids. So part of that, in doing that, we also create a long format video. So for those of you going to the gala tonight, you will see the last part of one of the long format videos that we create and basically what the long format video does is it documents the whole process. So you get to meet the child and their family. You then are taken to watch and see the song being written and recorded by the songwriter, and then the final presentation of the song to the child and their family. So that's part of our sponsorship process. So the story writing process is really championed by our program director, who's sitting over here, Tom Chester. who was reluctant to get up here and talk today, so that's why I'm doing the whole thing. I had to call him out. So basically, the story writing process, what happens when we partner with an organization is we have a conversation like this where we kind of explain who we are and what we do, and if the organization is interested in working with us, we have a partner agreement. So we send along the partner agreement, and the partner agreement consists of two things mainly. First, it basically talks about HIPAA, that we won't share identifiable information of the children that the organization works with. And then the second piece is that fundraising aspect, that people can donate to the song, receive the song as an MP3 with their donation receipt, and then the money that's raised is split between the organization the child was a part of and Sing Me a Story. So it kind of covers those two things. And from there, we pass it off to Tom. And Tom basically then gets the whole process started. He talks with the partner organization and basically asks them, how do you foresee working with us? How do you want to use our program? And that can look a lot of different ways. We can either send volunteers to work with the kids on story writing. We can train staff members to basically work with the kiddos around story writing. And then we send along all the materials to use for story writing. So some of those materials include blank books. We have these great blank books. They're basically what they sound like, that the kids can use to write and illustrate their stories in. And then we have brochures that I have some up here, so I can show you those if anyone's interested afterwards. And then we have Sing Me a Story CDs. So that way, when the songs start coming back, we first listen to the songs to make sure that they're A, appropriate, and B, clearly written for this particular child's story. So it's not just some song that some guy wrote for his girlfriend and then submitted it online. And once we make it live on the site, then the song gets sent to the organization the child was a part of as an MP3, and that organization will have received all these Sing Me a Story CDs that they can then burn the song on a CD and send to the kiddo and their families. But also the stories and songs live on our site. So after the child has written and illustrated his or her story, they can take their blank book home, and they have a brochure that explains to them how they can find their story on our site and then keep up with the songs as they start coming back. So that's kind of the 10-foot view of the process, and that's Sing Me a Story. So that's me, and that's Tom, and that's Tom. So if you have any questions or want to talk about it later, we would be more than happy to answer whatever questions. Cool. Thanks, guys. You're next.
Up next, we have Laura, clinical director and music therapist.
All the way through end-of-life care, and the company that I'm here representing, Melon Music, we provide services for all of those different ages, for people of all ability levels, with all diagnoses, because music is super applicable to everyone, and most people have a relationship with music. How many of you listen to music in your car? Everyone. So there's your, at least, maybe that's the only time you listen to music, but it's always there. How many of you hear music when you're in the grocery store walking around? How many of you have noticed that if it's a song you like, your mood's a little better? Maybe you're dancing down the aisles. I know anytime, I feel like every time I shop at Trader Joe's, someone's always playing Michael Jackson, and I'm always like, this is the greatest grocery store experience I've ever had in my whole entire life. Like, I'm gonna get that broccoli, even though, like, who wants to eat broccoli? I'm gonna get that broccoli, like, I'm all about it. So it can give you this positive energy, and it can really get you excited for the most mundane things of life, like broccoli at Trader Joe's. And that's the same purpose. One moment, please. Here, maybe. No? Thanks. Okay. Oh, it sounds like, is it working? Am I good? Okay, all right. So for everyone who missed that in the live feed, we're talking about Michael Jackson, grocery shopping, how it can really boost that experience for you and take a mundane task and make it interesting. So that is part of why music therapy works with a lot of people, is because you can take something as mundane as kind of going like this, back and forth, and add some music to it, and suddenly it's a little more exciting. So if everybody is willing to try a little something with me. So let's just all together, let's try to, you can watch me to keep in time, but we'll go out and in, out and in. Okay, I'm going to stop talking, so we'll see. All right, you guys are doing pretty good keeping in time. All right, now let me think of a good song that can work with that. Okay. Well, you can tell by the way I use my walk, I'm a woman's man, no time to talk. Music loud and women boo, I got kicked around since I was born, and now it's all right, and it's okay. Anybody join in? The other way, and we can try to understand. Whether you're a brother or whether you're a mother, you're staying alive, staying alive. Everybody staying alive, staying alive. Staying alive, staying alive. Nice. Give yourself a round of applause. Beautiful, wonderful. Hopefully that's all right to sing random snippets of songs. So then all of a sudden everybody's together. Everybody's like, yeah, we're doing it. And it's super fun and it's super engaging. Where before, I saw your faces. Okay, I'm watching her. Okay, whatever. All right, girl, that's fine. And then as soon as everybody starts singing, even when I was singing, people were like, okay, that's kind of weird. She just singing Bee Gees up there. But then as soon as everybody started singing, all of a sudden it's this collective experience, which is really cool. And I use that all the time in music groups. Obviously not that song, but other songs that I have prepared better. So it also depends on the room. So here I'm looking around, I'm seeing all kinds of ages, all different demographic of people. So I'm thinking that's probably a song everybody's heard. So that's why I kind of gravitate toward that. But let's say I'm working with teens. I choose a song that teens love. That's many things. Like a lot of teens that I work with right now are really into the band The Gorillaz. So I'll maybe use that with them. I'll use the Beatles with other groups of people. When I'm working with children, I'm mostly doing children's songs. Sometimes you can slip in a little Happy by Pharrell. Someone from the previous group mentioned that too. See a few returning faces who are like, oh yeah, I remember that. So it's all about who you're working with, and so when I'm a music therapist, I'm considering all of those factors, and I'm kind of using music to make the uninteresting interesting in a therapeutic context. So for that, let's say if I'm working in a geriatric facility or with someone that has limited mobility, and that's a really hard movement, it can help actually motivate. The rhythm's helping keeping people in time so that everybody's together and you're getting your repetitions that you need to get in. But it's also fun because all of a sudden you have the music, so it becomes kind of like a little dance, and it's really helping work all these different aspects, which is really cool. And because of rhythm in music, it actually connects you. So if any of you happen to be looking around the room, as soon as everybody started singing and kind of got the groove, everybody was in sync. Almost everybody was in sync. So that is really, it's a really exciting thing. So will you try another little music experiment with me? Yes? Okay, great. I'm going to split you in half. So there are more of you, so I'm going to give you guys the harder part. So I'll come back to you. Okay, so we'll start here. We're going to do some clapping. So it'll be, strike that. I'm going to start here. Okay, so easy part first. We're going to clap 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Keep that going. Nice and loud. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Awesome. All right, great. Now you, my friends over here, get the hard part because there are more of you. So we're going to do, it's called a polyrhythm. So you're going to play, so I'll do 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You guys are going to go 1. Now can I do it on command? Oh, I should have started you guys first. Okay. Okay, that's it. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bap, bap, bap. Okay, great. We went a little bit from a polyrhythm to just a little syncopation. And my brain in the moment could not. So sometimes that happens to clients too, right? And then I simplify it for them as I simplified it for myself. So that's an example of, anyone have any guesses? Anyone? Yeah, attention, definitely attention's in there. We also got a little bit of visual, auditory cohesion there too, because you're watching me and you're clapping. That's pretty cool. You have your rhythm, so there are different parts of your brain that are being activated, some your motor cortex because you're moving. All sorts of different cool things are going on in there, but I love that for attention and also cohesion of a group too, because then you're over here trying to listen to each other really hard, and you're over here trying to listen to each other really hard too. And that's also a good way to kind of explain communication to someone that maybe doesn't really understand communication that well. So there are all sorts of really cool and awesome things. Am I doing right?
Yeah, you're great.
Yeah, okay. Different things that you can do with a music experience like that. That it was also fun, like the energy in the room. Can you guys feel like it's like, whoa, we're ready. The music is here, and that's really cool too. Is I can kind of feel the shift in energy, and that's a way that you can enter in as a music therapist. I enter into a therapeutic relationship with somebody, and there's automatically kind of a sense of trust to just kind of like go with it. Music can be really intimidating for someone their first time, but I'm going to show you, it's not going to be a big deal. Like, I just showed you the clapping, everybody was like, okay, I can watch her and I can do this. There's a sense of trust that builds, so then I can move from doing something like that and working on attention to letting someone feel comfortable enough to write their own song or to express their feelings by sharing a song that might already exist, filling in the blanks to a song. I might do a lyric substitution where I leave a word for them to fill in. I used earlier the song Happy. It has "'cause I'm happy," and then I can say "'cause I'm," and they can say however they feel, whether it's happy, whether it's frustrated, whether it's sad, whether it's confused, because there are a lot of emotions that come with any person, and then you add any diagnosis to that, and it just, there's so much more complexity there. So using music as a fun, motivating, and engaging way to help people achieve therapeutic goals, to help people find wellness, and to promote their own wellness, and to find songs that they like, that they relate to, that share their experience, can be really beautiful and empowering. And if you have any additional questions about music therapy in your area, how to find a music therapist, any additional questions about what music therapists do more specifically, feel free to find me. And I have some cards and all that, so you can find me later if you need to. I'll be around for a little bit after. And thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, we have Anusha from CCS Fundraising.
Hello, everyone. Okay, so before I jump into doing a guided meditation with all of you, I would like to first ask how many of you have experienced sitting in a guided meditation? Raise of hands. Wow, amazing. And do any of you that have raised your hands use any of the apps such as Headspace or Calm? A few of you. Great. And do you use it on a regular or daily basis? Anyone daily? Amazing. I love it. So mindfulness does help us in becoming aware of the present moment, and a lot of times we're thinking about what we have to do next, or what we have to do tomorrow, what work needs to get done, what needs to be cooked for dinner. And just taking a few minutes for mindfulness in your day will change your whole day. So I'm actually going to dive right in. So if I could have everybody sit comfortably on your chair with your backs straight. And whenever you're ready, you may close your eyes. Taking a few breaths here. Everyone inhale with me on the count of 3, 2, 1. And exhale, 3, 2, 1. Keep that steady rhythm of breathing. And as you begin paying attention to your breath, leave behind the background noise, allowing your breath and mind to slow down to the rhythm of now. You may have had to rush here to the summit this morning, had to arrange babysitting for the kids. You may already be planning your time after the session in having to catch a taxi or an airplane to get home. You may already be thinking about getting back to work, back to the daily grind. I want you to let all those thoughts dissolve away from this moment with each exhale. Letting go of what will be, focusing on the now. If your mind wanders, keep your focus on the inhale and exhale. As you breathe, pay attention to how you are sitting. How's your posture? Are you slouching? Try pushing your shoulders back, opening up the chest area completely, allowing yourself to breathe deeply. Pay attention to where you are sitting. In this room, on your chair. Think about where your whole being is situated physically. In this room, shared by people that are all a part of a similar journey. Think about each person you have had the opportunity to connect with these past couple of days. Thinking about the exchanged smiles and conversations that have left you with hope and inspiration. No matter how you were feeling when you woke up this morning, or even when you entered this room, you made it here, and thank yourself for that. As you arrive to the present, inhale calmness and exhale the anxiety. Flush it out of your body completely. Now pay attention to your physical body. Notice where you are holding tension. Starting from your head, release the tension from your forehead, your cheeks, your mouth, relaxing your jaw and lips, releasing tension from your neck, your spine, your chest area, filling your lungs fully as you inhale and exhale. As you breathe, recognize that each of these breaths gives you life. Be aware of your heart beating, filling with love and compassion. Now for a moment, bring your awareness to your eyes that let you see different shades of color, faces, smiles, the sunrise and sunset, your reflection in the mirror, bring your awareness to your ears, that beam in sound, music, laughter, the voices of those you love, and also the silence, all the beautiful sounds of life. Bring your awareness to your nose that smells the ocean breeze in Southern California, the aroma of sweet perfume, newly cut grass, the smells that come from the kitchen, like cupcakes in the oven. Now bring your awareness to your lips and your mouth that taste and savor, kiss and speak, that sings. Bring your awareness to your hands that hold and touch, open and close, the arms and shoulders that carry and hug and lift and stretch. Bring your awareness to your legs, down to your feet, which allow you to walk, run, and dance. Bring your awareness to your abundance, your mind, your evolution and perspective shifts, your ability to see growth and potential in every moment. Now drift awareness to nurturing relationships in your life. The new ones and the older ones. To material things that came to you unexpectedly. Things that flow to you with great effort, commitment, and hard work. Think of love in your life and your connection to those things that are sweet and loving, honorable, and just feel right. When we no longer take life for granted, we become grateful for everything we have. When we are present, like in this moment, we are able to nurture our being and foster this feeling of gratitude. And from these feelings, we are able to be the best we can be. What makes you most grateful in this moment? Is it a person? Is it a feeling? An object? It might be a particular place. Take a few breaths here and focus your attention on being grateful towards what you have in mind. Gratitude and awareness go hand in hand, and it only takes a few moments and a few breaths to get you here. Keeping your focus on the inhale and the exhale. Now that we are present and aware, I want you to set your intention for after you leave the summit. Think of one thing that you would like to do for yourself after leaving here today. Take a few more breaths and commit to it. Inhale, exhale. Now think of one thing that you would like to give to somebody else. It could be to a person or a community, something outside of yourself. Something that makes you and others feel good. Take a few more breaths here. Taking your last inhale and exhale. Thank you for letting me guide you through this meditation. You may open your eyes when you're ready. Okay. Thank you. So does anybody notice a different rhythm of breathing since before I did the meditation and after? Some words that you were feeling or thinking? If you'd like to share? Way more relaxed. Okay. Anybody else? Any words that came to mind during the meditation? Or people or things? More focused. More present.
Yeah, in the moment.
In the moment.
I was getting really overwhelmed with this summit because it's just been so amazing, and I've been taking so much in, and like having that moment to kind of regroup and sit with everything, and then kind of recommit to going to the rest of the day fresh and ready to reconnect again. That was like really a gift. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad. I think it's so important, and I do it to myself. I try to commit to just 3 minutes. I use the apps Headspace and Calm, but I also set off a timer, just 3 minutes, where even if I'm on my way home from work and I'm just get into my car, I just sit down before I even start the car, and I close my eyes and I set the timer to 3 minutes, and I just know I can shut off for those 3 minutes. I mean, you could fall asleep, but it's definitely worth it, and it changes your whole approach to everything. And I think everyone is always juggling so many things and planning, and you get caught up and you don't set that time to just breathe and just be in that present moment. But it does impact your day-to-day. So I hope that inspired some of you to practice a couple minutes here or there. It doesn't have to be daily, but try it out, and it does really impact your daily life. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. It really was a gift. So we're going to wrap up with some Q&A. So if any of you guys in the audience have questions or through the mobile app want to submit questions, that would be great. We have a little bit of time to go through that.
Mine's not a question, but I just wanted to say just talk about the music. I mean, this is my daughter, and her and I both have rare disease, and we did the Sing Me a Story. And kids, especially adolescents, are struggling with so many things, and they don't want to open up and share their feelings, their deep, dark, secrets and things like that. And for me as a mom, when my daughter did the Sing Me a Story, I had no idea the feelings that she was experiencing and going through, and seeing her words put into music really spoke to her father and I, and I just want to say thank you for that.
Oh, thank you.
So my question is also in regards to Sing Me a Story. What is the idea, and you may have mentioned this, but I didn't note it down, number of children to collaborate on one project?
Sure. So when we partner with an organization, it's really up to them in terms of how many kids participate. We do like to have an open dialogue about it, just because if we get 150 stories in a day, it's going to be hard for us to turn those around in a timely fashion. But typically, I'd say anywhere between five stories to 20 is usually the average, somewhere in there.
5 to 20. And do you find it ideal to break it into age groups, like maybe ages, I don't know, 4 to 7 and then 7 to 12? We have children's programs at our conferences, and so I'm just curious as to...
Sure, yeah, absolutely. It can be really helpful to kind of split it up a little bit. The basics are usually the same, but you know, you can get a lot more out of a 13-year-old if you really focus on character development, and which when you have that discussion with a 4-year-old, character development is way over their head, you know, so it's better to focus on Superman or something like that. So yeah, it can be really helpful to kind of split it up a little bit when you're presenting it to the kids. And that's something that Tom, when we bring a partner organization on, that second phone call or video chat or what have you, those are all kind of things that Tom goes through and talking about best practices and different stuff like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions in the audience here?
This one's directed to you as a music therapy professional. If I don't have access necessarily to a music therapist, but I'm just, and this may be like too broad or like too much to ask you just in one question, but my son has a variety of therapies from ABA to speech, occupational therapy. I can definitely see a barrier is that he's just burnt out and he gets, you know, frustrated with things that are challenging and shuts down and, you know, sometimes has tantrums. Are there a couple of tools that I could take away to maybe bring into his sessions that I can like help facilitate, that might help bring music to that situation and allow for him to maybe kind of have a breakthrough of or calming or something that might be able to help him to kind of get through those moments of frustration?
Yeah, absolutely. I have worked with actually a number of other professionals. So with ABA in particular, sometimes it's working for music being the reward, or sometimes even asking questions in a song form for some kids somehow makes it suddenly fun and interesting. And then even making a song out of, let's say they're trying to learn something. I work with some kids that they need to learn colors. They hate learning colors. They've been trying to learn colors for a while now. And it's super annoying to be asked, so yet again, what's this color? Are these the same? And to make it fun and make it a song and do that can be really fun. If he has preferred songs, using those sometimes as a reward, as a transition. Some parents, if I have worked with clients who the kiddo has trouble getting into the car. They don't want to go anywhere. They want to stay at home. So having a song about we're putting our shoes on, we're walking to the car, we're opening the door, we're getting in, or like all the steps of what it takes to get to the car, as like silly as that sounds, actually really works. And then they're prepared. I'm going to the car. This is the car song. Because some kids kind of need that routine and that help, and then it's fun, and then they go from screaming to like, I'm ready for the car song, because they like it so much, and then they are traveling wherever they need to go to their various therapies. And then also, I had another idea, but it has flown the coop. But yeah, absolutely. If you, where are you located? Okay, if you want to send me an email, I'll give you a card later. Yes.
Any last questions for those in the room or on the line? A little bit of time. Yep.
Sorry to be so inquisitive, but this is about the mindful meditation. Do you, of course, you know, we as adults experience this. Do you have any recommendations for smaller children on how to do mindful meditation, or any apps you can suggest, or yeah, just ideas on that?
That's a really, I think my mic's working. Okay, so that's a really good question. For kids, I know that they do have some mindfulness classes and yoga classes for kids, and those yoga classes are more basic yoga classes for the kids, so that they can actually spend more time on their breath work. So I think that's available in a lot of places now. But honestly, YouTube, There's so many kids exercises for mindfulness on YouTube, which I've worked through with some kids, and I think it's really benefited parents also in working with some of their kids. I know sometimes the kids can get frustrated, and instead of punishing them or not talking to them, just showing them how to breathe, and okay, maybe you need to take a few minutes to breathe, and then we can talk about it. That really helps in even a conversation with a child that's getting frustrated.
And would you recommend that it's better to start doing a mindful meditation at the beginning of the day, or maybe after the day, like after we get home from school, or?
I would really recommend doing it earlier in the day. If you could do it throughout pockets in the day, once in the morning, once in the evening would be great. But I think doing it every morning sets that intention for the day, whether it's consciously or not. So I think for the child, it would be important to do earlier.
That's great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta run around here.
I guess mine isn't quite a question. I was just going to comment about your question. My kids love, there's meditations on YouTube. Jason Stevenson, and they're like balloons come down and you're on the balloon, and they listen to it every night to go to bed. And they're 10 and 12, but they do that a lot. So I just want to share it because I know sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm floating in the sky, but it's a cute thing for the kids.
I just had one more resource I wanted to share with you too. I'm a yoga teacher, and I'm a kids yoga teacher as well. And there's this stack of cards called Yoga Pretzels. And it's really great because it breaks down different breathing exercises and poses, and it's just a fun little tool to have.
And I'll add to that, Headspace has a kids section too. I just found it isn't a paid version, but I started using it with my daughter for like some nighttime anxiety and calming, and that's a great app.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, we have time for about one more question if anyone has anything they'd like to ask. If not, that's fine too.